been covering Big Finish on my live streams for approaching a year and a half now, and I've reviewed almost every major Big Finish release during that time span. And I've reviewed stories from every single Doctor: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, War Doctor, 9, 10, even 11 and 12, thanks to impressionists and other voice actors who aren't Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. The only Doctors I've not talked about are 13, because she has no Big Finish adventures, Fugitive, because they're incoming, and also the 7th Doctor. For whatever reason, because I think Sylvester McCoy got trapped in Hong Kong, wasn't it? He was trapped somewhere for a while because of lockdown. He wasn't able to travel, so he's not been able to record Big Finish proper. So he's taken almost 2 years off. I think the last time the 7th Doctor was in a story was in the beginning of the end, which was the end of the monthly range. So we have more coming up in the near future. If you look at the Big Finish calendar, 7th Doctor Adventures, Sullivan and Cross AWOL, and there's 2 titles slated for 2023 as well. So we do have some Sylvester McCoy in the near future. But yeah, it just seems like a really weird gap that one of my favourite classic Doctors I've not been able to listen to in the annals of Big Finish. And we have a release here, hotly anticipated, Silver and Ice, which stars Sylvester McCoy returning as the 7th Doctor, and also Bonnie Langford as Melanie Bush. So this places us squarely in season 24 territory. We've got Cybermen here, as you can see over his left shoulder, and over his right shoulder we've got a castle, we've got basically a sequel to the Ribos operation, which is the first story from the Key to Time saga. And a recurring joke on this live stream is that I have not watched any of the Key to Time, so I think that's a sequel that's going to be completely lost on me. We've got 2 stories here. We've got Bad Day in Tinseltown by Dan Starkey, who you may recognise as Strax from the 11th and 12th Doctor's era, the Sontaran. And this takes the Doctor and Mel to a frontier town, sort of like an Old West town called Tinseltown, where the miners there, they mine for tinsel, and that's basically what everything is made of there. The Doctor and Mel land in one of the big entertainment exhibitions happening there, and see a big fight taking place, but one of the combatants has got the 7th Doctor a bit concerned. Let's play a clip.
Take your places for the main event.
Where are you saying about civilization?
We'll be lucky.
In the green corner, all the way from Retragus Prime, Quasar the Unapologetic.
Your defeat will be lower than my feet.
I've never seen a crocodile do jokes before.
Something lost in translation, I think.
And in the beige corner, our very own boy from Bright Edge, the pride of Tinseltown, the one, the only, Big Gerald!
Yes, I am big, and my name is Gerald.
Now he's got his patter down.
Place your bets, seconds out, and fight!
Doctor, can we leave? This is horrible.
Oh, just a second, Mel. There's something familiar about the big one.
The crocodile-faced big one, or the other big one?
So this is a story written by Dan Starkey, and I know it sounds like a bit of a reductionist comparison to make because it's the obvious one, but I did get some Douglas Adams vibes here, and because we've got the 7th Doctor and Mel going to essentially a tourist exhibition place, it is similar to stories like Delta and the Bannerman and Paradise Towers. You know, it is very firmly in that season 24 territory, where it is fun, it is a bit more lackadaisical, but that's not to say the stakes aren't there. This is also a Cyberman story, and the way that they incorporate the tinsel into the setting, into the powers of the Cybermen, is really novel and inventive. It's a fun story when it comes to the abandoned, like, frontier Midwestern town where, you know, civilization has come and gone, has passed them by, and they're now being, you know, it's kind of like that town from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, including a mayor with delusions of grandeur. I don't know why Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is my comparison for Bad Day in Tinseltown, but that's just where we're at. Now, this is it's a fun Cyberman story, but if you're wanting, like, fun charisma, David Banks, cyber leader, like excellent. You're not going to get it here, even though you do have a 1980s Cyberman on the cover, as well as I think Wheel in Space Cyberman as well, although this one just makes a small, pretty fun appearance, almost like Silver Turkish. It is not Turkish, but Silver Turk-ish, the Eighth Doctor story, Silver Turk. It's a 2-part story. It's short, it's brief, it's brisk, it's well-paced and put together. I like Mel in this story as well. Bonnie Langford does great work across both of these stories across the box set, where she has to pretend to be an entertainment journalist in order to learn more about the fighting exhibition that's happening and trying to figure out what's happening. There's some great interview scenes where the miners on Tinseltown are also doubling up as the acts for this variety show, and they are creatures of few words, and Mel is trying to interview them and interrogate them for information, and she's just getting nowhere. It's a really fun romp that is well in place in season 24. The big story of this box set, though, is the Ribos Inheritance by Jonathan Barnes, where the Doctor and Mel arrive on Ribos, and it's like perpetual winter. Winter is only meant to last on Ribos for like 20-ish years, but it's been going for nearly 40. Something has happened to the planet, which is causing all of these strange meteorological phenomena to happen. There's some unrest from the people because of a ruler, and they don't quite know how the monarch currently on Ribos got there, and even the king might not even know what's going on there either. And the 7th Doctor encounters an old friend in a cave on Ribos. Let's play a clip.
Hello? Hello? Is anyone in? So sorry to stop by without calling ahead, but, well, we just happened to be in the area.
We're friendly. We just want to ask you some questions.
Keep away, both of you! Keep away from this, the sanctum of the Archmage!
Wait a minute. I know that voice.
There are so many curses I could call down upon you. I might turn you into a field stoat or a gleebling rat. I might turn you to ashes and render you unto the winds to be scattered over the land. So go back, walk away, lest you become subject to my wrath.
Garon.
Excuse me?
That's your name, isn't it? Garon. I remember you.
There is no Garon here. Only the conjurer of the mountains, the dweller in the darkness, he who slinks amongst the snow.
No, it's definitely Garon. Come out of the shadows. Let's have a proper look at you.
You know this person?
He's an old friend. Well, acquaintance. Well, someone I met once. A thoroughly unreliable and disreputable crook.
Now, I'm sure people who have the Ribos operation as one of their favourite stories, as someone who maybe is the spearhead of the Ribos Operation Appreciation Society, I'm sure that the appearance of Garon had everybody like clapping in their seat. It was basically the equivalent of Chewie We're Home from The Force Awakens, but for Doctor Who fans. I'm sure that for someone out there, that's the feeling that they got. As someone who, recurring joke, I've not seen any of the key to time, it's completely lost on me. I'm so sorry. Thankfully, I did get the sense that I didn't need to watch the Ribos operation to get this story. That if there are callbacks, if there are references, with the exception of, Garon, I don't know anything about them. I'm very sorry. I know that the original actor who played Garon in the Ribos operation is no longer with us, so it's David Rintoul who plays him in Silver and Ice in this box set. So what we have on Ribos is a feudal society where they have no idea about life beyond them. They don't know anything about alien life, and there's the monarchy as well. Honestly, you could have replaced this with Peladon, and I don't think you would have got that much in terms of the setting of the story. Like I said, I don't know anything about the Ribos operation, so it's like lost. It's gone over my head. However, I was still able to, with that in mind, appreciate this story. I think it was a bit of a slow burn, ironic considering it's set on an ice planet, but it was a story that took a while to get going, but I was still enjoying it. But the further it went along, as the stakes got higher as the situation escalated out of the Seventh Doctor and Mel's control, I got more invested and more interesting, especially considering that the end of the story leaves the Seventh Doctor and Mel in a pretty interesting place character-wise. Now, it's no secret that the Seventh Doctor is probably most well regarded by fans for his interpretation in seasons 25 and season 26, when the Seventh Doctor is with Ace, once Mel has gone to do whatever she wanted to do with Sabalom Glitz at the end of Dragonfire at the end of season 24. And then when the Seventh Doctor was with Ace, his character starts morphing and changing a bit to be the chess player, the slightly more manipulative Doctor that we all come to love. There's a little bit of that in season 24. Like, I think there's 2 instances in that season where he talks somebody to death. But in Silver and Ice, at the end of the box set, it kind of confronts that a bit, which means that I really hope that in future Seventh Doctor Adventure box sets, if they are with Mel, I hope that Big Finish do continue that forward. Like, I know it's a story that can't, strictly speaking, get proper closure, because there's no real closure when it comes to a character morphing and changing from one companion to another, but it's something that I think could really retroactively work when it comes to why Mel would want to leave the Doctor at the end of Dragonfire. If you watch Dragonfire, Mel just sort of leaves. She's like, oh, I guess it's time for me to go because my contract expired or something. The scene's great at the end of Dragonfire, but there's not really much to motivate it. So maybe if these stories with the Seventh Doctor and Mel are able to expand on that, that would be really interesting. And it would give the Seventh Doctor adventures, now that they're removed from the monthly range, a really interesting through line. But that's just hypothetical for the future. But let's talk about the actual story itself, the Ribos inheritance. I liked the world building here. You've got the monarch in the castle and the advisors around him who are trying to manipulate them to do whatever they wanted in order to not necessarily seize power, but to still assert their authority over the kingdom. And you've also got the resistance. You've got the barbarians who want to take over, who want to stop the monarch. I liked these 2 opposing sides. I liked the twists at the end as to how the MacGuffin would work in order to bring the endless winter to a close. I really liked the Ribos inheritance. I don't know if it's like top 5 Big Finish stories of the year good, but as a 4-part, like, epic, almost like Game of Thrones in scale and scope, fantasy story in a feudal society with the Seventh Doctor and Mel, it's probably as good as you'd really expect it to be, and maybe even better than that. I'm sure Ribos Operation fans are, like, absolutely gleeful. I'm not one of them. I don't think I can be. But if you really wanted that sequel, you got it. And you can rest assured, in my opinion at least, that it's really, really good. This is a really strong box set. I don't think it's like the triumphant, incredible return of the Seventh Doctor, but it's also not really trying to be. It's too fun, with a few dark tinges later on, return of the Seventh Doctor and Mel during the pretty fun and carefree season 24. It slots in really well while also carving a path for the future. The Cybermen are pretty cool in it as well, and I did like the setting of Ribos, even if it is a sequel that I didn't know anything about. So yeah, the Silver and Ice is a really strong box set. Bad Day in Tinseltown is a fun 2-part romp, and the Ribos Inheritance is a 4-part epic. They're quite well balanced with each other. If you like Seven, if you like Mel, either or, this is a really good box set that I recommend. Like, if you have been someone like me who loves the Seventh Doctor, and it's been like 2 years since you've heard them in Big Finish, this is a good return, and I can't wait for more.